Newly released data shows that our portrait of America is changing and changing dramatically. The total number of white people has fallen for the first time ever recorded. We're talking all the way back to 1790. Just over 61% of the American population is white, down from 75% just 20 years ago. The 2020 census also found that more than 85% of us now live in or near a major city, a less rural country. Ed O'Keefe joins us now from Washington. Ed, good morning to you. There are dozens and dozens of stories and things you could talk about in this census report, but you're going to take a look at it from the nation's capital perspective. How is it going to change things there?
Well, good morning, Tony. Demographers have been predicting it for years, but the new numbers show that this country is diversifying far faster than expected. With Democrats in tight control of Congress, just by the narrowest of margins, and the midterms right around the corner, this will have huge implications for American politics. Americans filled out their forms, and the results are in. The nation's white population slid by 8.6% in the last decade, while the number of Latino and Asian Americans ballooned by more than 20 and 30%. And the number of African Americans increased by more than 5%. The change is perhaps most apparent among the nation's youth. Nearly half of Americans under 18 are now non-white.
The future of this nation really is Latino.
Arturo Vargas is with the nonpartisan National Association of Latino Elected Officials.
Latinos accounted for over half of the U.S. population increase over the past decade. We need to make sure that the new electoral districts that are going to be drawn reflect these population changes, and specifically the increase of the Latino population, which we saw actually happening in America's largest cities.
Many advocates also hope that as states start redrawing boundaries, they curb the practice of gerrymandering, or drawing twisted congressional districts to benefit one party over the other. There's a great example of this here in Maryland. Right there, they vote in the 4th Congressional District, but across the street, they vote in the 5th Congressional District. Driving just 3 miles from that divided neighborhood, you can cross through 3 Democratic congressional districts.
The politician chooses their district and their voters. And if they don't like a group of their voters, they carve them off and move them someplace else. They can create their own safe district, what we call safe seats.
At the end of our drive, we met Michael Goff, Maryland president of Common Cause, which pushes states to turn census numbers over to independent commissions to draw nonpartisan congressional maps.
It's a once-in-a-10-year process. It's probably the most important political development of the next 10 years is happening in the next few months, and most voters don't even know about it. As we said, all of this comes ahead of the 2022 midterms and the fight over the balance of power in dozens of state legislatures and Congress. For example, Republicans now control more of the states that are set to pick up congressional seats, so they could potentially gerrymander Democrats out of districts to make gains. Of course, Democrats could do the same to Republicans in the states they control. We'll be monitoring this over the next year.
Yeah, interesting, the idea that maybe somebody independent would take a look at that as well. Ed, thank you very much.